Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Auf Die Fresse, the WXW Review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hamilton, joined as always by Mike Kilby. And Mike, a few days back we did a tribute show for Absolute Andy. Check one out if you want. This episode we're just going to be going on about news and last couple of WXW shows. But how the hell have you been?
Yeah, it's been obviously well, it's been a tough couple of days, obviously since the terrible news, and it kind of threw a bit of a spanner of works, I think, for us at least. It was to say that it was a show that none of us ever expected to or ever really wanted to make, obviously, and it's worth a listen. I think it's a chance. We've not really had a proper chat, I think, but prior to that, and it was nice to sort of exchange some nice memories, and some things that we kind of wanted to say about someone who I think we have a lot of fondness for, and I think he was a true legend of the European scene, and I think somebody who will hopefully, well, at least by me, probably never be forgotten. So
Absolutely, and not intended, but yeah, we've got a few news bits. Of course, we had Broken Rules and Wheel of Wrestling 55 since we had our last proper episode. But I guess main headline coming out of Broken Rules is, I guess, WXW on paper, at least that's how some people are taking this, potentially killing off women's division. So, spoilers alert, but if you listen to this podcast, you're probably already aware. Uh, Robert Dreisk retained his Unified World Wrestling title against Maggot, whereas Eve Everett early in the night lost the last woman standing match to Masha Slamovich. End of the show saw AMBOSS invite Masha to join the group. First time they seemingly, I would say, cared, but no, brought up women's title in terms of having all the belts in AMBOSS. She declined, said she wanted Dreisk's belt for herself. RIP shotgun and tag belts, I guess. But yeah, so stage being set, anniversary show, December 23rd. They are at least teasing they're going to be unifying the men and women's belts. And that's going to be the first time if they go through with it. I mean, Lord knows double count out, double DQ, and whatever non-finish you want to do. It'll be the first time we've merged the men's belt since June 2010 when Zack Sabre Jr., then the light heavyweight champion, unified with Steve Douglas's heavyweight belt. Yeah, women's belt, of course, a lot more recent in terms of vintage. And I didn't realize until doing the notes on this. Um, First came into being December 23rd, 2017. So Killer Kelly beating Melanie Gray in the finals of the inaugural women's title tournament. So unless we do a non-finish, that belt's going away in its sixth birthday. And yeah, 10 women haven't held the belt over the years. Abe Everett, most reigns at 3. Amal, 847-day reign through COVID, but my knee jerk reaction was, what the bloody hell are they doing getting rid of this? But at the same point, it's like, well, for the shotgun blogs, they have kind of, they have made it a case of it's not like the title's going away and everyone's like, oh, what we're going to do? Baby Allison was straight up pissed about it. But yeah, on paper, I don't know if this is like a tease or whether this is just, them maybe putting something on the back burner because outside of Avery Everett, women's division pretty much hasn't had that much spotlight this year.
I think it's always been, sort of having women's championships in, at least in Europe, has always been a difficult thing because, um, number one, there's a fraction of the size of there's a fraction of the amount of sort of women wrestlers in general, um, women's wrestlers who are at a standard who can um, hold their own on a promotion of the size of WXW or the promotion the size of RevPro, Progress, etc. There's the number of wrestlers is very, very small, um, and I think that's obviously the thing. And we have people. It's in the last couple of years, at least anyway. It's been very reliant on, we say, imports, to sort of prop it up. Um, Allison really has been the only person, she's the only domestic person who's really um, been able to sort of be a constant. You've had Eva Kolaski as well, and we was blessed, I think, with the very, very short run of Orshi as well. Obviously, she wasn't a women's champion, but you kind of think if you had Eva and you had Orshi and thing, maybe it still would be wouldn't be put in this position. I mean, the other thing to consider though is that it's entirely possible Masha could beat Droiska. Um, it's entirely possible. I wouldn't hate that.
It'd be a hell
Masha,
of a weird way to, derail AMBOSS. I mean, God knows, the whole through point of this podcast feels like, oh, we're going to do a K-Fix like GMC versus WX versus AMBOSS. And they have got the graphics out for Back to the Roots in January. It does have a Cajun background. So, yeah, it's not against the realm of possibility, but
I think for a few years we've sort of had a bit of a question whether we've questioned maybe some of the main events at least post COVID of Carat, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure what really strong main event Droiska is there in the can for Droiska really, at least in terms of what's left, unless you start running against Maggot or you do Icarus or something like that, or somebody big returning, which is always a possible. Um, what's the question? Whereas I think Masha, she could have a really exciting main against anybody. I feel like, and I think she definitely could do it. Um, she's probably, yeah, I think she would be an interesting person to be put. It'd be a hell of a statement to have Masha as the the night two champion. If they were to be going back to the tradition, I mean, she could also go into the tournament, Carrot as champion, as could Dreisker as well, I suppose. Um, and that would equally work. It depends what the outlook is sort of going into Carrot, but yeah,
when you've mentioned, I say reliance on imports. I mean, you're going through like recent bookings. So obviously, we've just had a long tour from Ava Everett. Anita Vaughan from Cork Island. She's back on the last show, and I was impressed over Femme Fatale weekend, or on Femme Fatale over Tag Festival weekend. Akane Fujita, Hyan, had brief tours. You had JC Storm from CZW in the States. She was over for a brief run. And it's like, you're getting the imports, but and I know there have been folks, on the directory side of things who've, I would say bemoaned, but have kind of been very much, well, okay, but where's the local names? Like, you've had Michelle Green on, who's been fine, but she's also not been used that much outside of festival weekends. Ditto Eva Kolaski. I mean, we were both Wheel of Wrestling 50 over Tag Festival weekend, and that match they threw out of Kolaski and JC Storm, I felt, and we said this on the podcast for time, I felt really sorry for me. Like, they were thrown out cold. Like, if I was
yeah,
Eva's first match there since Carat JC Storm, one or two matches, on the Fight Forever / Academy shows. It's like, you've thrown them out there, and I'll say you've thrown them out to die. But at the same point, you've put them out there as you've got fireworks going off outside for some reason. You've got put them out there, and it's like, well, what did you expect? You've got two characters which people don't really know how to react to because we've not seen them.
yeah. And I think Kolaski's one. I think for me especially is just like, oh, where on earth did she go? She's not. I feel like she's someone who could definitely be. I mean, she has held the title, but I think she's definitely strong enough to be someone who could wrestle every week. And likewise, I think Allison is. She's obviously got better and better over the years. Um, they are both limited. I'm not going to say they're world class, but they are both limited. But like they're both perfectly capable to do that sort of job for WXW. It just for me it seems just like it's been a bit of an afterthought for a long time, um, but equally they have had their sort of arm maybe potentially forced by the whole, you know, would we be in this position if Orshi wasn't around, if Orshi was still around? I don't know. Um, you know, we lost Kelly, obviously before the pandemic. We lost Kelly before the pandemic, but you know, the whole basis of the division, which started there. So Tony Storm, Melanie Negrea, and Kelly Kelly, for one reason or another, aren't here anymore.
Yep.
And that's in 6 years. And it's just they've never had a solid person who's always been there.
I think we've had seen with Rev Pro in England. When we had NXT UK, they was signed. Pretty much anyone Rev Pro was touching was being signed. To XW to a lesser extent, perhaps. I know we've missed some names. Alice Inc. They gave a bit of a run to. Calypso they've given a bit from Maria De La Rosa. They gave a bit of a run to before she retired. So it's not like they haven't had the names go through, but for one reason or another, they've just not been able to get things going. I'd argue since COVID, take out Ava Everett, and it's like, maybe worst case this is a pausing of a title maybe while they restock, but at the same point, they've done intergender since what, Shotgun 2020,
Yeah.
and that was a way to get around not having women's title on the show. And to be fair, weren't that many on the show, women on the show, who did the intergender stuff. They haven't really done that much intergender since Shotgun tapings. It's mostly been limited to Baby Allison and Maggot in some combination.
And Ava's done a few as well.
Even Jacob Crane as well, of course, but
Yeah.
like most recently, it's been those two pairings. But again, I suppose it's the whole thing. If they do get rid of the belt, it then becomes chicken or the egg. Like, do you get rid of women's wrestling entirely, which 2023, 2024, the optics of that ain't going to be great? Or do you do intergender? You do women's wrestling for wrestling for the sake of wrestling, I guess, as we'd say. But it's the whole thing of how do you develop if no one's booking? Like, and this isn't. I know this is a complaint others have made elsewhere in Europe. As much as you can do videos of a 1 hour challenge, that's fine. But at the end of the day, no promotion wants to do what no wants to be a copycat. Like, if you're promoting exactly the same thing somebody else is doing,
Yeah.
it's the whole argument. WWE. Do you want to be a copycat or do you want to be an innovator kind of thing? I think that's where you get in the whole thing of, well, everyone's gun shy because they don't want to be seen to be pushing the same women everybody else is. And to an extent, to XW, they've kind of been the same thing. Like they've not gone for exactly the same names as other promotions because, if they did, what's differentiating you from everyone else? Bear in mind, virtually every promotion's online these days. But it'd be very interesting to see, where they, do go with this. Whether they do a fake out, whether they, have a dry scare, kill women's division. Then, was it George Janela WrestleMania weekend a few years back did the whole, I'm against women's wrestling. Then they, the entire GCW women's roster, or at least was they booked that weekend, gave them comeuppance. But I think, the optics, at least the backlash to the initial announcement, not great. We'll
I
see
think it's a
where.
justified backlash.
Oh, of course. I mean, like I say, you did the whole thing of no. This isn't a case like it's a belt we've had for a decade and it's been forgotten about. 6 years. This belt's been on most shows. The fact that we said even back Tag Festival weekend, your women's champion is arguably one of the highlights for the weekend of a promotion. Now you're getting rid of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a baffling thing, and it's such a open goal to sort of sky over. It doesn't for me. I don't feel it's unless they are using it to completely elevate it and massive bloody wins it, which I think is entirely possible. I think it's a very bad it's a very bad call if they are getting rid of it, but like we'd said before, there's lots of potential reasons why it just hasn't worked, and potentially.
Well, we've got a
But
few weeks to see what direction we do go in. There's the 23rd anniversary show, December 23rd. Probably on WXW now, end of a couple of days after Christmas, I'd expect not to put
yeah,
Mark under any extra pressure. No, like this past weekend, he's saying like it's the first weekend he's had since August without having to do any video editing for wrestling. And then, of course, the Absolute Andy stuff. And I don't know if that was him doing the videos, but yeah, but no, for no, holiday season. Everyone's looking to get time off and have a break. So we'll see. I know that last year when we did this, so 2021, we did around about Christmas time. It was a pretty quick turnaround. So we'll see. But we'll definitely know December 23rd what the results, and we'll be able to see it with our own eyes. Hopefully for the new year. But we will see what that goes, and of course react accordingly. Couple of news bits. So we're starting to get more names announced for Carat Weekend next year. Of course, they are doing the Wheel of Wrestling Wildcard Edition again. And I believe first two names have been announced to this. We've got Rachel Armstrong and Ryan Clancy. No, Armstrong, she won the. It's a long name, so I'm probably going to butcher this, but the Scenic City Invitational Futures Tournament. It's kind of like the next generation, a future stars, for one better word thing. She won that this past year as part of obviously the Scenic City Invitational weekend. Ryan Clancy, he's a so his gimmick, and he works a lot for Wrestling Open. That's like the Beyond Wrestling offshoot. And he's been pretty much never present on that. So I've seen a bit from his Bean fan. I think he had a match with, I want to say, Zack Sabre Jr. not too long ago. I'm going to check this so I don't get myself. Yep, Zack Sabre Jr. actually fought Beyond Wrestling back in February. Um, so he's had some big names. He has actually worked in Europe before. I'm just getting the dreaded mouse scroll as I look up Cage Match. So this won't be his first time in Europe. He did a run, actually about 10, 11 days with LDN Wrestling back in February of last year. Going for like Eastbourne, Grays, Edmonton, in London, not Canada, of course, and in Wales, and yeah. So he's done a few dates over here, but this will be no spec due to LDN for what they've done in the past, but this will arguably be his biggest exposure in Europe. Um, Although I think it's from what we've seen, I think Kohlenberg has been a pretty big proponent of independent wrestling TV,
Yeah,
and those first two names very much names out of the IWTV catalog.
yeah, exactly. I don't particularly know a lot about them, but as I say, I think you'd mentioned it before. It's just a lot of people who on that sort of thing. It's clear that he's got the sub for that.
I'm just saying you have no new names announced. I get my teeth in, but yeah, I mean, you obviously going to be a lot more names coming down the pipeline. Obviously, with it's like the Wheel of Wrestling, the Ambition wild card. You're going to need a lot more than just two names. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Carat, there was meant to be a 16 carat gold qualifier at the anniversary show in December. That's been scrapped, so it was meant to have been Michael Oku and Alex Kane. Directly tweeted not long after that match was announced that Kane and MLW made additional demands after the match was announced. They didn't want to bow to those demands, so WWE's just cancelled the booking. They're not going to be considering Kane for any further dates. I guess that phrasing, at the moment at least, Kane is the MLW champion. So that particular phrase may make you think, well, who did they want to win? But anyway, Kane had worked a few dates with WXW in the past. He had a very brief tour of Germany last year, in fact. Uh, Beat Ilya Bloom in the Fight Forever match at Dead End in Hamburg in July of last year. He lost to Nick Schreier at a dark match at Shock at the top last year, and then lost to Pete Tihani at Fight Forever taping again August of last year. So yeah, it's a shame because I mean I was really looking forward to Alex Kane, Michael Oakham, like from when Alex Kane first broke it up, at least became a name or started breaking out in the States. I was screaming for him to have a run, for the academy, the old school, stay with the academy, have a tour with them. At least based on this, that ain't happening. Instead, we're going to be getting Michael Oku against Mike D. That ain't a Carat qualifier because we're going to get Mike D and Leon Slater at Dead End in February instead. So, yeah, quite a bit going on there.
Yeah, a bit of a shame, really. I think we were looking forward to Alex Kane. Sort of, it was. I feel like it was maybe heading towards Kane being in Carrot, but yeah, a bit of a shame. And I think I know Oku was apparently he said he was really looking forward. it was a match that he'd wanted to have for a long while. So that's a shame that that's wouldn't have been canned. But obviously, we don't know the circumstances, so it's a thing. I'd
Good
like to
news,
think.
Mike.
Sorry,
Yep,
go
carry
for it.
on.
No, go for it.
I was saying, good news, Michael Oku. You're not going to be thrown around by Suplex Assassin. Bad news, Michael Oku. You're going to get thrown around by Mike D. By the look of things.
Yeah, I don't know if that's any better. It is it.
Not for shortcut, but wait. Did Mike D eliminate him at shortcut?
I think he
Press
did.
slam from the ring.
I think
Oh
he
God.
did.
Sorry, Michael.
Yes. Which Michael? Um,
All of them.
yeah, it's I think it's a bit of an odd one. Not really to say we don't really know the situation, but um, Oku De Vecchio is a very fascinating match. I don't think it's happened unless it's happened
Nope.
in Belgium.
First time ever, I believe, but I will
Yeah.
check in case that's changed with the new Banger Zone Wrestling.
Yeah, so we don't as far as we are aware it's the first time, but yeah, I think that's Mike D is a is a fascinating wrestler to watch for a number of reasons. Um, so yeah, I think it'll be a good one. Do we think Oku will just get the spot sort of for free? I don't know.
I
It seems
mean,
weird to not put him in a qualifier against somebody domestic, you know?
yeah, I mean, again, I could see both sides. Like, Wade Wexbury said, they've made demands and they've ball shot them. Would make, the logical reading of that is MLW wanted him in Carat, or maybe they didn't.
Yeah,
Um, if MLW has tapings, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Court Power hasn't sent out that many press releases lately, so I don't know what the plan is. But yeah, I guess if Oku's going to be in, I can see if he was going to be, I can see maybe regardless of the result, well, he impressed that much. Therefore, he gets in.
he's in on walkover sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and again, if you want to go full kayfabe and go, well, he's current Rev Pro and Disputed British Heavyweight Champion and use that. I mean, they haven't been shy of recognising Rev Pro in the past, so yeah, we'll see. The fact they didn't change from Mike D Leon Slater match, for February. Christ, announcing for what 3 months away. Not two and a bit this time we're speaking, but announcing Mark this far out. Um, I don't know. I mean, of course, both Mike D and Leon Slater are technically TNA asterisk contracted, so I guess we'll see. Is the long and short of it. Um, but yeah, I could see folk who's meant to get in. I guess at this point it'll be through outside influence. I guess at this point,
yeah.
rather than through because again, when we spoke the other week about this, the Wrexham don't have that many shows between now and Carrot. Like
No,
you've got anniversary show, you've got Back to Roots in January, you've got Dead End in February, you've got
road to yeah.
Road to in Bielefeld February 10th. Then you've got at the moment at least, and I will quickly check this two
There's one or two
live
live shows,
shows.
isn't
Over
there?
Traveling and Bad Sackingen again. So really, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 shows between now and then. So yeah, if they
When you
want
say it
so
like that, it doesn't seem that long.
no, which quite frankly
Well,
scares
actually,
me.
to be fair, it's not. It's only 4 months, isn't it?
Three and a bit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
by the
It's
time this
December.
goes up, it's December, yeah.
Yeah, so
But
it's
so we will see where that all leads to. One last news note: WXW now did a big catalog dump. I believe it's on Sunday. They've added a lot of stuff from 2016. Of course, we're still missing more shotguns, but they have added a bunch of live tour stops. So you're talking about stuff like again, I'm going to look through these, but basically they deleted all of these shows back when actually now on Vimeo basically had to make space. Um, so I'm just pulling this up now. So you're looking at things like why can I not find the playlist
there's the
when
Shotgun Live tour. There's like Veya and places like there basically all sorts of strange places.
yeah, so you're looking right now at so they've got this in order. 2016 is Back to the Roots, Dead End. Actually, so this thing that caught me out as well. The tour stop shows are only in German.
Yeah.
So if you want those, you need to have a German playlist on. But you've got things like Fulda, Köln, Bielefeld, Gotha. Basically, the I'd say the glory days, but back when they used to do the big tour announcement videos, it was like learn yourself a German, some German geography. A lot of these place names I would never have heard of outside of direct announcements, like Weil, Wickede, Saarbrücken, Hof, place like that. So they've got, I believe, right now 41 videos from a German feed. And I'll say it's looking like a project for someone to go back and look, because this is all stuff that was before me watching WXW up to date. And if their 2024 schedule is going to be looking as sparse as it is now, a lot of time to watch stuff. I haven't noticed they do have a 2015 playlist as well, in English and in German, with a lot of videos currently shown as unavailable. And that's kind of been the tell in the past, hasn't it? Where they'll have the year's playlist,
It's
but
appeared and then it's
obviously,
not have anything on it.
yeah. So I think right now the 2015 playlist, as we look, only has got Carat Weekend. For some reason, it's only the English 2015 events playlist. Guess I'll be built up, but yeah, even then, the 2015 playlist in English, um, they're saying there's 15 videos and only 4 showing, so that kind of gives you a bit of heads up of where things are going there. So if you're looking at pre-WXW now, WXW, try to say that 10 times fast. That's up, some more that's up now on WXW now as part of your subscription. So take a look at that. I mean, I think I was speaking to you on Sunday, just some of the stuff on there. Like, there was a lot of stuff around. Obviously, got Back to Roots 2016. That was the famous Käfigschlacht with Cerberus. Robert Dreisker shoulder injury. We kept him out for best part of the year. A lot of Cerberus and Ring Camp A4 stuff on here as well. So there's your big through line for the week, and just a few like utterly random, like early Tim Thatcher, Bobby Guns matches, well before their big the Tag Festival 2018, long before that big rivalry. Ring Camp against Posse in Effect, Ring Camp against Divashbaren. So you've got a lot of like, I want to say, time capsule stuff, really. And of course, Tommy End farewell show from Cologne. So yeah, it was a lot of stuff to go through as well. I mean, I think one was at Fan Weekend. Where was this? If you ever had Gangrel of all people on the shows? I have Superstars of Wrestling, Walter versus Gangrel.
Yeah, I think the thing which is quite exciting, at least sort of the potential of what we could get coming up, is some of these shows are shows which were effectively deleted off of WXW 1.0 because they obviously ran out of space, didn't they? Briefly, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So and then
Thanks,
obviously
Vimeo.
they moved over to YouTube, and these shows are now coming back. So thankfully, we could actually be getting more weird stuff sort of turn up again. Fingers
Spielabend,
crossed.
Spielabend, Spielabend.
Fingers crossed for Spieler Arbin it does come back. I'll, I'll tell them to do that every time I see one of them. But yeah, it's that. I should ask. We should ask Mark if he can find it and just put it up. Put it up on YouTube
um,
for free.
Without pulling the curtain back, I've been told Mark isn't the guy behind these. I
Ah,
don't know
right.
who is, but whoever has got the
Order.
hard drives, it's them. So I guess for some kind of trash. I mean, obviously, was it actually posted as an Andy and Yearn episode of Spielabend, but kind of surprised they didn't dig up. But again, they've got their plans. But we didn't want to overwhelm everyone's timelines. But yeah, the fact that YouTube, for all intents and purposes, doesn't have a nagging space limit, certainly, you're not. It's not. It's just a case of someone's time uploading this stuff, rather than, oh well, it's going to take X megabytes, and we'd rather save that for Carat 2024 and whatever. But
We do joke about Spielabend, but actually, the thing I'm probably more interested in is things like the conversations stuff,
yes,
the
the
interviews,
classics with Alan Curran.
the round table things. They were all excellent things, and obviously they're not there anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the thing I'm more really interested in.
So whoever directly's got those hard drives, no, just saying it's Christmas in a few weeks. But
Yeah,
anyway, I guess now someone's probably going to get us having coal under the tree, depending on how we both saw these next few shows. Of course, with two directory shows since we last sat down to record. Broken Rules in Frankfurt. So, again, I'm just going to go through the results quick. Can go through our thoughts at the end. Pre-show had Alex Dew getting his first win, beating Kohai Kanoshita, Bobby Guns, and Shigehiro Irie. Ilya Bloom retained the shotgun belt over Anil Marek. Baby Arson submitting a Kane Fujita. Mike DiVecchio and Igel Blanc went to a double count out with Tristan Arsh and Joseph Fenech Jr. Master Slambish won the last women's standing match over Ava Everett to win the women's world title. Sebastian Hackel beat Safar Amin. Icarus Lawrence Roman beat Fast Time Mutum, Paige Tahani, and Dennis Stolnik and Hector in the ladder match. They win the world tag titles. And as we mentioned earlier, Robert Dreisker beating Margaret via referee stoppage to retain the Unified World Wrestling title. As a show, I thought it was fine. I've obviously some high spots, some highlights throughout. The ladder match finish, kind of took me by surprise. The fact, AMBOSS winning the titles, when those weeks earlier they were, flat up, teasing a bit of a blow between them. The Masha Slamovich Dave Reverend match, without going full Dave Meltzer, I'm not a fan of last man and last woman standing matches. Because a lot of it's counting 10 in Visk, they didn't even count 10 in German, so it wasn't even the educational side of things. But I mean, for Plunder, it was an enjoyable match. If it didn't go too long, it wasn't like stretching incredulity or anything like that. But I thought Broken Rules was obviously a one match show built around Maggot and Dreisker, and I got the sense of the crowd. I don't want to say it didn't feel like Maggot was ever going to win, but it didn't feel like there was that many believing there either.
Yeah, it kind of I felt the show in general just didn't really have any highlights. It was all of a decent level. Nothing stunk. Well, almost nothing stunk. But like it
We'll
was,
save that for the next show.
yeah. It just kind of was all. It all was about the same level. It kind of all hung around the three, 2.5, three and a quarter sort of level. Nothing really ever went over that for
Yeah.
me. It was just all very it was all very samey, and it didn't feel like there was a lot of, there wasn't really didn't feel there's anything to really get me teeth into really with this show. The main event was pretty. I did enjoy the main event, but it didn't feel like it really stood out as anything exceptional compared to, it. This could have been the main event of a We Love Wrestling show, and I would have believed you. It didn't feel important enough, really. I don't know how they would have made that more, but I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean,
I just never bought.
You had Maggot win shortcut. I mean, to be fair, Frankfurt the match cap was sold out for this. But yeah, to me, I don't just had this weird. Like you said, had this weird air around it where it was a one match show, but it wasn't like people going in
There was a
expecting a
sense of
title
an
change.
inevitability about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
it, was,
Nothing
it felt
to
like
add.
everybody in the crowd was waiting for how is Amboss going to screw him over,
Yeah.
and that was kind of, how is Maggot going to mess this up? How is Maggot going to lose? And I think that was
Um,
kind of the
One thing I did notice during the main event, so they did the crowd brawling pretty early on, and you had Aaron Insane in the crowd. And I noticed for Fight Back Wrestling in Frankfurt, they are doing Aaron Insane against Robert Dreisker for the WXW title now. That's one of my pet peeves when another promotion's title's defended in a company because, let's be honest, how many times, especially like a major belt like this, is that going to change? But I thought it's a nice bit of almost lip service to at least give them something to build that up. But
Yeah.
it could also kind of, well, okay, but now, no, I don't. To me, it's the whole, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You had that, but at the same point, you also had, well, you've
Why
taken
are they
this. But
building to something that
why
they?
are we doing? Yeah,
Yeah.
why are we doing this on a double XW show when you've just spent, an entire couple of weeks in Saxony in terms of releases, having, Maggot B built up as, this threat. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a loss if it did Maggot that much harm. Again, this was supposed to be shock at the top when it wasn't like, no, it
Still
wasn't
feel
a
he's
case.
got the keys to the kingdom coming to him.
Yeah, it's
But
it's not a case of this is lost and then he's down, back and fight forever matches or what have you. But
I
it'd
mean,
be
he
interesting to
very
see.
may well be. But
Well,
yeah,
no, I'm not condemned to vote anyway, but be
yeah.
interesting to see, where he is. Bear in mind, we are very quickly coming upon couch season, as we said. But moving on 1 week later, went back to Hamburg at the Grünspan, the standing room only show. So
Oh,
I'm going to go.
throwback.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we spoke, early in the week for Absolute Ending, the Brian Danielson match they threw up, where it's all standing room only. And yeah, it's a nice throwback to the fact that you had, yeah, it's the kind of thing where you just had the crowd, not maybe as raucous, apart from, okay, we had the crowd mostly not raucous. Now, I was away last week and, watched the show, was offline most week, but what was able to catch the show. And when you're watching, you see, some of the crowds like, hang on a second, that's, yeah, Shauna. So, one of the gifts, I think we've tweeted this week, of her booing absolutely befuddled Andy. It's like, hang on, that's Shauna in the crowd. And I had no idea she was in Hamburg.
Yeah,
So that kind of threw me off. But I thought, compared to, we've said in the past, Hamburg, Das Power crowd is, no, needs to be a good recharge, shall we say. But I'll go in the order they had because they took a match out of order for the VOD, but Fight Forever, Sebastian Hackle, pinning Anil Marek, we call the hack break with torture rack neck break, which was a decent finish, but I am still not sold on Hackle, but we'll touch that in a second. Ilya Bloom pinning Francesco Key, which retained the shotgun title. Magna Baby Alson over Jacob Crane and Ava Everett. Robert Dreisker pinning the debuting an impressive Tank. Hector Invictus and Dennis Stolnik pinning Fast Time Mudo and Peach Tahani. Nita Vaughn over Kohai Kanoshita. Shikahiro Irie beat Bobby Guns. And main event, Icarus and Lon Strowman beat Rotten Flot with Mikhail Schenkenberg and Nikita Charisma to retain the tag titles. So this one I think is a bit more to get your teeth into. I mean, I guess the first one, um, again in no order of importance. What do you think of Tank? Like, I thought it was weird. Like, so on the Shotgun vlog, they had Dreisker issue an open challenge to women's division. They tried playing off like, well, no one's answering, so just count them out, give me the win. I think they said, or at least Dave Bradshaw said on the English comms, she's had like maybe 15 matches. And I got the same kind of vibe here with Alice Inc. on her debut in terms of, yes, there's a lot of work needed, but they damn sure made her look good, even in defeat.
yeah, I agree. I think she's been as far as I understand. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe she's actually the Pro Wrestling Holland tag champ at the women's champion at the moment. So I was aware of her as a wrestler prior to this, but yeah, it felt like they did she impressed. I think the people who I did know who did go. I think Shauna said obviously she looked really good. I thought she looked perfectly fine. As I say, a lot of work to go. I think still, but there's half a chance of a good star there. Really, I think. I just think they just need to handle her correctly. I mean, there's no better way to debut than going against the company's champion, I suppose, and look impressive enough.
I mean, this kind of reminds me of the Orshi stuff, like obviously, condensed into 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But it kind of had a lot of the same notes of, very, physically imposing compared to, not body shaming, but compared to a lot of women's division, much different physique and, figure, I'd guess. But the fact that, you had, Dreisker very much on the run, shall we say,
Yeah.
I'm looking. Cage match hasn't got the latest PW Pro Wrestling Holland results up, but Tank did win a number one contenders match, and obviously
Yeah.
Everett's gone back to the States, so you'd
Pretty
expect
sure
that.
she is champion. Yeah.
So we're kind of this Tank. Okay, Tank was champion back in September, lost to Ava in October, and the last show they've got of November 12th, she won a number one contenders match. So I don't know if
Quite
Ava's gone back
cool.
for the title, but
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
again, it's the fact that she's already held gold in her native Holland speaks volumes. But definitely want to keep an eye on, regardless of the state women's division, I'd guess. Leah Bloom, Francesca Akira. Solid match. We're going to do a rubber match because Akira beat Bloom over Tag Festival weekend. Hector and Dolnik beating Mudo and Tihani. Now, so they announced these two tag matches around Boss Rotten Flood as well. And we kind of said on the last but one episode, well, it's a tag title match unless, and of course, the titles changed. So we're getting Hector and Dolnik getting a rematch for tag titles at anniversary show. Mudo and Tihani imploding, and like that didn't last long. Like,
Yeah, it was one of these things. It was a bit of a wink, nudge, nudge. The whole thing's like, yes, they've won stuff elsewhere, namely Berlin, and then, but then there's kind of obviously they don't do storylines from other promotions, obviously, but Tihani and Mudo, they kind of, yeah, they deluded. It was kind of always going to be. It would have been very strange if they had have maybe kept them together.
well, if we see Heartbeat Girl in Oberhausen, we know they've really bowled. But Um, yeah, I mean, I think this is another one where had we had, no, I feel like we're always the same. Had we had Shotgun, this could have been stretched out over a few episodes.
Yeah,
Bit of needling going on. Instead, we've got the Shotgun vlog of why do you always have to come out? Why do I always have to come out first? Why do I have to wait for your music and that kind of thing? But I mean, it's telling the story, but I think it's one of these, back in my day, it would have been told, a
yeah.
little bit more drawn out. But yeah,
It would have been at least a month before they would have completely
yeah.
collapsed. You know what I mean?
Shakira Irie beating Bobby Guns. Um, not
This
to
is good,
go,
obviously.
good, yep, not go all tinfoil hat. Very interesting Irie. This was last match in Germany, at least this year. Beating Bobby Guns, who's been very much hit and miss since Michael Knight left, or at
Yeah,
least left the scene.
on a downward spiral, some would say.
And of course, we touched upon main event AMBOSS retaining over Rotten Flot. Um, we've put this off enough, Mike. Sebastian Hackle, he's not for me, and I know he's not for us, but
No,
there's a, and I know what they're trying to do. Like they did the whole thing at Shortcut to the Top, where I tried and then I got into commentary, but this isn't meant to be a dig at anyone. But if I'm watching, we watch Rev Pro. If Andy Quilsley dug Gio off commentary and went, you know what Gio used to do,
you've not
no,
wrestled for 8 years,
you've not wrestled for 8 years because for whatever
but
reason,
you're in the cruiserweight title picture.
yeah, I could be like,
Yeah,
okay, great, but have you one match and done? Fine. The fact this is carrying on, like this is going into anniversary, we're doing a trios match, and everything seems to be pointing because Axeman's already lost a Carat qualifier. Are they really going to be doing that for the Carat main event?
well, yeah. I mean, who is the hack? Who is who is Hackle for? That's the thing. It, it might just be that we don't appreciate him, but surely he's not enough of a draw to build your carrot around. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, don't get me wrong. No, the effort is being put in. It's not like he's dogging matches or what have you. But to me, it's a whole. No, they've literally said yes, he used to wrestle, but he's known more as a commentator. Especially to the crop of fans who he's got right now. So you've had your commentator beat Safari Amin, who, okay, granted, hasn't been a regular on the roster
He's not.
recently,
He's not beat anybody. Let's face it.
but you've had him beat Anil Marek clean. former tag champion, the guy who, you're kind of trying to, I would say, rehabilitate, me, trying to build up again as part of High Perform Limited. Like
More
again,
than mean streak, yeah.
yeah, it's like, well, so you've had him beat him, like, and again, nothing against the push, but this is exactly the kind of thing where, if you're gonna, drink, if you're playing this drink game, if you had your shotgun, you'd have had your local job. I mean, just trying to think. Last time they were in Hamburg, Grünspan in particular.
Well,
Um,
you got people like where they had like Puro, or you've
Apu
had
Singh,
the French.
it's the name of
Yeah,
the when they the last time we went to Grünspan, they had someone drop out. They grabbed Apu Singh as their fill-in. This where the old days of shotgun, you could have had. I'll use this term lovingly. Your local jobbers, get them in. They're there to lose, and because they're not guys who you may be
well,
relying on your roster, they're not going to do any harm. So it's not like
put him in with Fayez
yeah,
Aguirre, or you put him with maybe not Danny Frey because he's now academy champ, but you put I dare say you could probably put him with Kanoshta maybe.
Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron or any of them sort of people. There's plenty of people you could put in, or bring somebody in from bring the other Guliash brother in, or I don't know, Hamash Pabo from Hungary. Just whack them in against not against people who have got a bit of gravitas in the company.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
to me it's like it's a means to an end. I totally get that, but at the same point, it just feels very much like if they're trying to fast track him. No, okay, I don't know. Maybe the plan is him and Axeman at Carrot. Fair enough, but to me, it feels like we're saying. I'm not saying he's rotten in the ring. Far from it. But the fact of the matter is, if you're going to have him beating ever more established guys to get him ready, you're going to be hitting a point. I mean, Oberhausen's a relatively smart crowd, I would say, where you're going to hit a tipping point where things are going to turn. And you've got, the anniversary show, you've got, Hackle and Rotten Flot against, was it Archer, Axeman, and Marek, I think it is.
yeah.
Yeah. If you have, God, if you have, and Rotten Flot are, Hotbed, I mean, like, the only thing I can see is he beaten Angle? Is he beaten Archer in Oberhausen? Because you're not going to have him pin Axeman. So to me, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see where this goes, but it just seemed just very worrying in terms of, I don't want to call this stunt booking and
I
all
mean,
that because it's
unless
not
they
like he's
push it to
untrained.
yeah, but I mean, unless they maybe bring it into they do something at back to the not back to back to the roots in January. Unless they maybe bring it forward to that, but yeah, the fear is certainly there that it could be another underwhelming main event. It looks like that could be a night 2 main event. It's the sort of thing they probably could put in there. I would be very disappointed if it was, but it's possible, isn't it?
And again, obviously with Hackle, it's got to mesh up, with WWE commitments as well. So maybe for Sunday, but we'll see where this goes. Obviously, everything is pointing towards him and Axeman. It's just a question of where, not if. But a couple of quick things from the Shotgun blogs. So Post Broken Rules was mostly set up for the Hamburg show. A bit of Mike D saying he's going to break out in 2024. Post Hamburg had Dennis Stolnig getting bullied into cancelling a skiing holiday so he can have a tag title rematch. Ilya Bloom teasing having one more challenge for Shotgun title. Curiously, Bobby Guns doesn't have an opponent for the anniversary show. At least from the announced roster minus the matches announced. So see there. Y2Q just done because Ava's gone back to the States. Jacob Crane said he was no fine, I'm going home. I would say is bear in mind every time Ava's come back, it's been with different guys, different character. Haven't seen she's had anything from the States yet, but it would not surprise me if the whole Y2 Cuties thing was done. Like in terms of as a concept, because one, it's kind I would say it's played out, but they've had the breakup in WXW. So yeah, if she comes back, what form is it?
Yeah, because she's always reinventing herself, isn't she? Yeah.
And you'd have to think, to some degree, there's going to be some kind of involvement with Jacob Crane just because of the way Fallout's happened. So
Yeah.
find that. Of course, the last few bits, touched on Mudo blowing up with Peach to Honey, Baby Allison bemoaning the lost women's title. Again, see how that goes. Few bits because for change, we've got more than the same 2-3 names going internationally. So I may as well start with the guy who inspired all this. Norman Harris just wrapped this tour of Canada with CWE. And I was going to say, well, this morning when I started putting this together, Cage Match had no information about this. And then, a couple hours before we started recording this, they dumped a whole bunch of results from that tour. The Rumble to Remember tour going through such places as find in Cage Match. So going through basically Manitoba and Saskatchewan, such a place like Morden, Canada, not London, Dauphin, Coast First Nation, Yorkton, Prince Albert, the place not for wrestler over piercing, Saskatoon, Medicine Hat, Regina, and Estevan. I don't know if you saw through Norman's Instagram some really tricky driving conditions. Frankly, he was more a passenger, not a driver, but the whole tour, no wins, unfortunately. He had 20 matches over 10 days. But we're doing like a match and a battle royal at the end, so there's double duty. I guess highlight be a tag match he had, obviously on the losing end, against Ultimo Dragon, which you're getting some extra reps, but you're also getting a pretty big name on your CB against anyway.
Yeah, you can't get that for much longer, I suspect.
I mean, Christ, I was seeing Ultimo Dragon in 1PW, and he was, I wouldn't say past it, but he was definitely past his prime then. I mean, obviously, the elbow injury, the botched surgery, and what have you, took a lot of his prime away. But the fact that he's still going, hey, get reps in while you can. Elsewhere, Oscar Leuber. So we kind of suggested last episode he'd be on the World Tag League with Yuto Nakashima. Those two didn't get a spot in the tournament. Instead, Oscar's been doing the usual thing, undercard tags. He has got 2 wins though. So New Japan's debuted a pair of new young lions, Shon Makato and Katsuya Murashima. Of course, the younger young lions always lose to more established ones with Oscar is. So he's gotten a few wins there. Like I said, the undercard tags, he's been eating pins to the likes of the Gates of Agony, Soberano Jr. and Kaito Kiyomiya. So same old, same old. A name which I didn't put on the list because I completely forgot until I saw the name pop up on Twitter just now. Massimo Pesca. He's been over in the States the last few weeks. So November 4th, he appeared on the debut show for a promotion called Daikaiju Pro, losing to TJ Crawford. Apparently, Benny, the former Asuka, not that one, she was on the show. Pesca apparently worked a show of her in Italy a while back. There's a connection of all. Very weird one for him to be flown to America to do this, but hey, it's bookings. The only other stuff Cage Match has from Massimo Pesca, he's been on the last 2 weeks of the Wrestling Open show from Beyond. Lost a pre-show match to Mortar. That was on November 16th. And then Thanksgiving last week, he was part of a Turkey Day Rumble, a match won by Ryan Clancy, who, of course, we mentioned earlier. And finally, touching Project Havoc. Of course, that's the group in Big Japan with Tempesta, Leighton Buzzard, and Dakara. They're still going strong. Tempesta's been doing mostly tag matches, while Leighton Buzzard, he's going to be back in the UK in the new year, based out of Bristol, I think he said. So probably same in Rev Pro, and he said a couple of other countries as well. So who knows, maybe Carat. But he's had a couple of title shots. So he lost to the wonderfully named Kaji Tomato for the Big Japan Junior title earlier in November. And this last weekend, lost to the Astronauts alongside Endakara in a shot at the Astronauts tag title. So, Yeah, lad's definitely getting around.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't aware Mazda was coming back actually. So
he said it was only going to be for the remainder of 2023. I think Tempest is a bit more long term, so
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. But obviously, Buzzard coming back. Obviously, he did have the unfinished question mark story of Michael Oku and Rev Pro, so definitely a lot of irons on the fire from there. But coming up for the Rex W, of course, the final main roster show of the year is the 23rd anniversary show on December 23rd at the Turbine Hall in Oberhausen. Main event is Robert Dreiss against Masha Slamovich, the Unified World Wrestling versus Women's World Title Unification match. We've also got Mike DiVecchio against Michael Oku, Eichel Blanc against Joseph Fenech Jr., six-man tag of Axel Tisch and High Performer Limited's Anil Marek and Tristan Archer against Sebastian Hackel and Rotten Flot, Mikhail Schenkenberg and Nikita Charisma. Dennis Stolnik and Hector Invictus take on AMBOSS's Lawrence Roman and Icarus for the tag titles. Also got Peter Tahani and Fast Time Mudo. And also announced but not yet in the match, Bobby Guns, Maggot, Baby Allison, Jörn Simmons, and Lavaniel. Pretty sure Leah Bloom wasn't on that list, but he's pretty much said he's got a chance for the end of the year. And yeah, Leah's still not on the roster page for that show, but you expect to be on the show in some form. Of course, that's their last one for 2023. Pretty slim pickings afterwards, of course. January 20th, Back to the Roots at the Turbine Hall. January 20th, 2024. Then Dead End 2024, February 9th at the Market Hall in Hamburg. As we mentioned earlier, Mike D and Leon Slater in a 16 Carat Gold qualifier. The next night, February 10th at the Foreman Bielefeld for Road to 16 Carat Gold. And then two live events, February 24th, Event Hall Airport in Obertraubling. And then March 2 at the Huber Arena in Bad Sackingen, and maybe this time Huber won't lose his head. And then, say after that, in a circle on March 7th in Gelsenkirchen, then Carat. So, we said, 1, 2, 3, 4 tape shows and then Carat. It's quickly coming upon us.
yeah, it when you say it's only five shows, that's not very much at all, is it? Really?
A lot of wrestling should be done over 4 shows to get a lot of pieces in place.
Yeah, exactly. I think the key thing is, well, let's say there's only 4 real televised shows, should we say, unless any of the other 2 get on there. But 4 televised shows, they've really got to be concise and smart with what they are doing, because otherwise we could be looking at a situation where we're like kind of dreading Carat, which I think maybe last year we maybe did a little bit, didn't we?
I think more tag league, just how it was
Yeah.
potential line. But yeah, we've only got 4 names
Okay.
announced
Yeah.
for Carat so far. The same going through, we have obviously Joseph Fenk Jr., El Hido, Dr. Wagner Jr., Masashi Tanaka, Luke Jacobson, one called Manso S5. So we've got a decent lineup already, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of spaces needing filled. I know typically directors we have announced names over Christmas, so we'll see if that's the case this year. But Mike, 2 episodes in a few days, and no circumstance we wish weren't, but yeah, that's been us for this week. Social media, you can find me at Ian Wrestling on pretty much everything. Website is at Big Back Body Drop on Twitter, at Back Body Drop and everything else. Mike, you're at Mike Kilby on pretty much everything these
Mike
days.
Gilby on everything. Yeah, anything you can find me on, I am.
That's just at Mike Kilby. The rest, if you type the rest, you'll not find much there. But yep, that's us for the week. Thanks so much for listening, guys. I've realised before sign up, I never say like and subscribe. I mean, you can find us on YouTube if you listen to the podcast feed. Subscribe there for the not in webcam, but if you want to stream on YouTube, subscribe. Give us the ratings any way you want. I guess this might be the last episode before Christmas. We'll see what comes up. But this is the last time we speak to you for the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, throw a vine act and all that. And absolute worst case, see you in the new year. Cheers.
Cheers.